So it's February the 17th, and we have a total eclipse today, which is called the Ring of Fire. So I decided I was going to do a reading on that one. So I wrote down how is humanity going to process the energy shifts created by the Ring of Fire eclipse. So I got the first hexagram, which is resolution. It's also breakthrough. We have lake above heaven. Okay. And then we have this hexagram shifts into this one, which is the corresponding hexagram. So we have heaven above wind. So now we have two changing lines. So we have the first changing line and the last changing line. And the changing lines, so the changing lines, if you notice, we have yin on top, and then we have four yang lines, and then we have yin on the bottom, and then we have four yang lines on the top. So it's kind of reversed. So it's going to totally flip. That's what I'm sensing. This eclipse is going to help the energy that we've been in the last whatever years. Is going to totally shift. So we had all this yang energy, male energy on the bottom, and we have the yin energy on the top, which was like the spiritual kind of. It's almost like at the end of, like the top line means that if you go too far, you could basically cause more damage than good. So that yin line is going to be on the bottom, which is the foundation. So the foundation of the hexagram is yin energy, which is interesting. So let's read the resolution, which is breakthrough. So we have, however many rivers you have already crossed, a time will arrive when your tenacity and inner resolve are again put to the test. Such moments can be terribly disheartening and exhausting, and they threaten to destroy your sense of progress. You may feel as if you are in a confrontation with a brick wall, as the hurdles that seem insignificant before appear unsurmountable now. The tension is exacerbated by weakened resolve and the fear of making foolish decisions that could determine what has been accomplished. When you find yourself in a crisis where everything seems at the point of a breakdown, avoid reacting aggressively, getting defensive, or trying to combat the problem head on. Like being caught in quicksand, the more you struggle, the more you'll be sucked in. Surviving difficult challenges depend upon your ability to stay centered, focused, and as calm as possible. Reacting emotionally to a crisis will only compound the difficulties. Be firm yet flexible, and work steadily to resolve the situation. It may take a good deal more time and energy than you expected, but adopting a non-dogmatic approach and keeping things in perspective is the solution now. Trying to restore harmony and at the same time avoid extremes of attitude or behaviors can feel like taming wild animals that are running in every direction at once. Nevertheless, what is really at issue is more subtle than you think. Can you remain uncompromisingly focused on your goal? Take time to examine what has been motivating you and weed out any half-truths or grandiose or egotistic ideas you may have been harboring. Looking for the quickest way out of a bad situation isn't necessarily going to help, and may actually divert you from the step-to-step work of taking responsibility for your actions. Any half-heartedness on your part will weaken your credibility and eventually create mistrust in others. Is that what it is? Feigning aloofness, these words. I'm gonna get a dictionary. Feigning aloofness. If anybody knows what that word is, can you put in the comment what it means? Feigning aloofness, making a show of strength, or any other face-saving ploys aren't going to help either. You'll just look foolish and will still have to deal with the real challenges. Be as creative as possible and stay very alert while plotting a course through this minefield of difficulties. Only by deeply trusting in yourself and the power of intuitive guidance can you find a resolution. Even if you disagree with what others have to say, do not react or argue, but stay open and hear them out. When a breakthrough seems imminent, remember to remain alert. The real moment of resolution will become apparent in due course. It cannot be forced. Resoluteness requires cool detachment, patience, and unwavering purpose. Being flexible enough to move with the changes without compromising your vision is the key to success. The image of the image of Bodhidharma, the sage who carried the teachings of Buddha from India across the Himalayas to China, portrays the uncompromising integrity and absolute focus that is possible when we are deeply rooted in our truth. Thanks to Bodhib, I can't pronounce it, tenacity and strength of character, he finally reached his goal, and Buddhism took hold and spread throughout the East. This is resoluteness, an unwavering quality that makes it possible to endure all kinds of mental and physical hardships, external pressures, or emotional intrigues. However, they arise on your path. Okay, that was a mouthful. All right, so let's read the first line. So the first changing line is the bottom line. Stop and consider what is really required for you before attempting to take on anything more. You either overestimate your capacity or underestimate what would be needed, and now must cut back your involvement considerably. Pushing ahead will also create further problems. And the sixth line, changing line, is just when it appears you've achieved a victory and can relax, you must be the most alert. The fact is that out of unawareness, negative influences buried within yourself or in others can undermine and thus defeat all that has been created up to now. This would be an unfortunate loss. Okay, so we are changing from breakthrough resolution, onto temptation, which is also called the attraction of opposites. So we have mutual attraction is an indication of compatibility, but does not necessarily guarantee it. Inexplicably, attraction can disappear as easily as it appears, leaving both parties wondering, what was that all about? When two people are, am I reading the right one? I guess I am. 44. Okay, temptation. When two people are genuinely attracted, the idea would be to approach each other from positions of equality and independence, ready and willing to meet on equal grounds. When the pull of attraction is accompanied by enough patience to let things develop naturally through friendship, true, TRUE, friendship can result. And Whatever else is going on in this type of atmosphere, any commitments made are based on respect for each partner's uniqueness and independence. I'm kind of getting that it's like the yin and yang energy that I was talking about that they're trying to relate to here. Such a relationship emphasizes maintaining balance and supporting each other's conscious evolution rather than excess over emotionalism or unconscious behavior. We are now able to entice. No, we are about the enticing. We all know. Oh my God, read. We all know about the enticing nature of what's been forbidden and the not so attractive outcome after going there. Temptation may start innocently as curiosity or flirtation, but it can become an irresistible force when a desire is on the verge of being realized. And when the enticement is strong enough and self awareness ignored, we can rapidly fall into the state of eager self delusion, unable to stay in touch with reality, realizing every word and gesture to justify our actions. Acting out of passion alone considerably increases the chances of disillusionment and regret later on. As soon as the magnetic pull of temptation succumbs to the sense of urgency, at least one of the partners has become heavily invested in a particular outcome. Oh, this really does, like, I'm getting the feeling that it has to do with the Epstein files. Like, I don't know why, but it's kind of relating to me to that. Okay, the easy atmosphere, that would engender trust is then replaced by pressure and coercive tactics that undermine it and ultimately weaken the relationship itself. Once you resort to manipulative seduction, you've compromised your own self-respect and integrity to the other. However, inconsequential seduction may appear initially. Once the magic evaporates, you're not only left with a bitter taste, but must deal with the demands for a resolution. Needless to say, the return to normalcy and a firm foundation can be traumatic and a long, drawn-out affair when we deny the part we've played in any deception, place blame elsewhere, and avoid taking responsibility for our naivety or impulsive. The powerful attraction deserves to be acknowledged, but from a cooler, uninvested perspective. Take time to consider your evolving feelings regarding the other. Where there is balance, there is unity and progress. But to become affiliated with a person of weak character out of your own unawareness would be a pity. Spiritual traditions acknowledge in a variety of ways the central importance of learning to unite wisdom and passion, the head and the heart. The sacred art of Tibetan Buddhism, for example, depict the literal coupling of deities, representing the perfectly balanced ecstatic union of two equally powerful energies. This image can serve as a reminder of the power of conscious consummation. Wow, that was heavy. Okay, so let's do the first line, which is the bottom line. Be alert to anything that might be undermining well-being. Every time your mind sweeps you up in extremes, take note and nip it in the bud. Otherwise, out of unawareness regarding the power of your own thoughts, you could easily dally in little intrigues that would soon become more dramas. Okay, then we have the 6th line. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. This is one of those times when you will be judged unfavorably, whatever you do. It would go against your grain to postpone now because of others' opinions. So make a decision and stick to it. Once you do, you won't look back. Wow. Okay. I think that is enough for today. Enjoy the eclipse.